he has missed since coming to LA. But how do you think it will work when Westbrook starts coming off the bench?
Not all that well. I mean, first of all, the bigger picture here, other than individual scrutiny, the Lakers aren't good enough. Let's just start there. But Jalen has said something that has convinced me over the past few weeks, and Jalen started talking about this earlier. Okay, if you're going to do this, do it now. That was last season. Because now it does. It seems like it's punishment. It seems like, okay, we're blaming him, so we're going to change his role. Not we're going to get creative at the beginning a year ago to try something, to be creative, to be proactive. So, Greeny, now what is this going to do? Who's Russell going to make plays for? I still think he has that in him. I still think he can do that on a second unit at a very high level for perhaps a contender, maybe a secondary contender. But tonight, now, the rest of it, what do they got?
What do you think, Stephen A?
Russell Westbrook is shooting 1 of 12 from three-point range. That is 8%. He can blame everybody else all he wants to. It doesn't get away from single-digit percentage three-point shooting. Now, I will confess that bringing him off the bench sort of emboldens him to some degree. And here's why, fellas. Because you know you don't have shooters around you. You know it's not all your fault, okay? And so now putting you in this position when everybody looks at the roster that you have around you actually buffers the position he could take. It ain't me, okay? Now, on one side of the fence, you hear from Lakers personnel, Lakers management, and their attitude is we're going to have him lead the second unit. It's amicable, it's no problems. No problems whatsoever. On the other hand, you hear he went off in the locker room and went at a guy like Rob Pelinka, and I want out of here, okay? So we don't know what the hell is going on other than this. The Lakers can't shoot. Their roster isn't good enough. I fully expect them to go 0-5 after tonight. And on First Take the other day, I made an argument that it is conceivable that the Los Angeles Lakers start off 0-11, if not 1-10, based on the next 7 games that they have.
This is a pivotal point for Russell's career, and the two things that come to mind are legacy and longevity. And how he accepts this is going to be the difference between him playing a few more years or not.
Yes.
So if I'm him, this is time for him to be selfish and literally have a good attitude, be productive, and show that you're willing to reinvent yourself. As an athlete, the more you move around, the less your role is an impact to the team. That's just how it works. So now he has to show that he's willing to play that role and also still be that leader, still be the person that goes hard, still be the person that has a good attitude, even though you're not starting for the first time.
We will talk
of numbers for the Lakers right now. I mean, they're a meme anywhere you look. It's been the worst in the league by almost any metric. They rank dead last in offensive rating and points per game, and it doesn't matter where they shoot from. They rank last in field goal percentage and in threes. Greeny, what do you make of this?
About the same thing that you make of it. It is a complete mess in Los Angeles, and I think we have reason to believe that tonight is not the night. It's going to start getting better. We've got Stephen A., Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose. We'll talk here in a moment, but first, let's go to Woj for the very latest because he has insight on 2 of the Lakers' big 3. News on Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook. Woj, what do we know?
Well, Greeny, Darvin Ham has just ruled out Anthony Davis for tonight's game in Minnesota with a sore back. There's optimism he'll be back Sunday in Denver. But Russell Westbrook, and we reported earlier today that the Lakers were going to start to bring him off the bench, make him the lead playmaker for that second unit. But there was some thought that if Anthony Davis was out, he could remain one more game in the starting lineup. But it appears that Russell Westbrook's streak of 1,007 consecutive starting games in the NBA, third best behind Chris Paul and his teammate LeBron James, that he will come off the bench tonight and for the foreseeable future in LA. I think the Lakers want to see with Russell Westbrook playing on the ball now, leading that second unit as in a playmaking role to see if that can help jumpstart Russell Westbrook and this Lakers bench. The question will be, do the Lakers, even on their second unit, have enough shooting around Russell Westbrook to make that work?
So far, there's been no evidence that they do. Woj, we'll see you on Countdown shortly. Let's bring it here. Meanwhile, I think we all have talked about it at different times. Wilbon, you were the first.
Tell us about his status.
Yeah, Malika, Zion Williamson went through the Pelicans shoot-around this morning, and while he's still a game-time decision against Phoenix tonight, there's a real likelihood that his return may wait until Sunday when New Orleans heads out on the road. They start with the Clippers. So Zion Williamson, I think, will get back out there pregame tonight, but a real possibility, he may sit out one more game here before he rejoins this team.
Possible that we may not be seeing Zion tonight. Woj, thank you so much. We will see you a little bit later in our show. I want to bring in Kendrick Perkins on this. Perk, what's your reaction to now Zion sitting not out just one game, but two?
You know what? I'm not overreacting. I actually think this is a good call by the front office of the New Orleans Pelicans and Willie Green. Make sure that he's all the way right before you bring him back. And the Pelicans, look, I'm not sitting up here saying they don't need him, but they have enough depth that they can withstand not having Zion for a few games, and even Brandon Ingram. This team has a deep roster. They're one of the best teams in the Western Conference. But Zion, he is just something special. And when he comes back, due to all the injuries that he's had in the past, you want to make sure that he's right. You want to protect your number one pick, your superstar. This guy has the potential to be a megastar. So I'm not mad at this. I'm not mad at all. Great call by Griff in the front office and Willie Green. Do not rush him back whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. It's smart. And listen, if this was a playoff game, he's playing. If this was a really critical down the stretch regular season game, he's probably going to play. With his track record, why rush it? The thing you worry about when you get something like this, is it tender enough so that you change your gait a little bit? Because that could lead to something else happening. Let's just err on the side of caution with a guy this important, and we saw what he's capable of doing when he's healthy. So no big deal missing one more game. This isn't something that you're connecting to his previous injuries. This is a fluke thing. It's a legitimate, hip bruise is a legitimate injury. I've had it. I'm sure, Sinead, you've had them.
Oh, yes.
All right, they're painful. You got to let this thing heal up. No big deal. And let's not overreact to Zion not being there for 2 games.
The Pelicans, they face the Suns tonight on ESPN. Kendrick Perkins, thank you so much for stopping by. Still to come on NBA Today, Luka Doncic was doing it all last night in